My name is Mel Hassip, and I am the founder of the Payroll Agency and your host here on Payroll and Prosecco. With nearly a decade of experience in recruitment specializing in payroll, I've made it my mission to connect top payroll talent with the right opportunities across Australia. This podcast is all about real talk with payroll professionals, industry insights, and a little fun along the way. So grab a glass of bubbles and let's dive into the world of payroll. So my guest today is Nili from the GPA. I know many of you will know who she is because of the wonderful events you put on in Sydney that go all out, to be honest. They're great. The food in the last one, right? I was trying not to be a fatty, but every time I went to the toilet, I grabbed a croissant.
Oh, that's why you kept going to the bathroom. Gotcha.
And I was like, come back, sorry, my bad. But I kept snacking on stuff as I was walking around. But so Nili is going to tell us a little bit about herself, how she got into payroll, and now why she does what she does to help the payroll community. So go on, tell us about you.
Well, hello, everybody. And first of all, thank you, Mel, for inviting me on to your podcast. And I think it's going to be a great conversation today. But so my sort of history with payroll is, you might be quite surprised to hear this, that I fell into payroll, which is a big shock horror.
There was no pathway?
No, there was no funnily enough, there was no pathway. And I became connected with payroll when we sort of made a radical decision one day to move our family overseas and base ourselves in Istanbul for a number of different reasons, obviously having that background. And
so Nili's Turkish and I'm also half Turkish. Sisters.
Yeah, so, that's kind of, it's not why we're connected here though.
Payroll is the root of all connection.
Correct.
But it's our love for kefte that brought us closer together.
But yeah, so we sort of made a radical decision, and I think the decision seriously was made within 5 minutes to up the family and move to Istanbul, and so we can have a better sort of traveling experience and all sorts of things. And it was there that I was connected with payroll. I happened to meet the person who I was working for by chance, and that's where the story began. And when I sort of started my role in payroll there, I was just like, wow, this is why didn't I do this before? And again, it was the same sort of a theme, I suppose, that goes across a lot of other industries as well, is we don't understand what payroll does. We don't understand the importance and the strategic value of payroll within a business. And it's not until you actually experience that firsthand that you develop that understanding. And from there, I sort of, like yourself, went on a mission to sort of, do things within payroll that are going to actually benefit the industry across sort of, a number of different areas. And it was along sort of that travel, that journey that I had, where I met the CEO of GPA, Melanie Pizzi.
Yep.
And when we decided to, make another radical decision in 5 minutes to move the family back to Sydney, we had some great conversations with Mel about expanding, GPA out into the APAC region, and here we are.
Yeah, great. I think it's nice because it's it's such a community. Like everyone loves obviously coming to the events, and you've had some great people talk, and I think people look forward to the events, and so it's a really great way to get the message out to loads of people. So, and this is obviously the whole point of doing this was so anyone who can't make, because obviously people have got lives, they've got jobs, sometimes they can't turn up. One of my clients texts me before, he goes, Mel, can't make it to the GPA event. Can you take all the free stuff for me so I can get it from you later? So I ended up taking an extra bag of goodies for him. I haven't given it to him yet, but I'll need to see him. So people really look forward. It's like a way to get everybody together. But, this is a good opportunity for those who can't make it to the event to hear about the cause, the reason, the things we've discussed in the event, the things me and you have constantly been discussing ever since, talking about the incentives. So we're going to go into way more detail about the GPA, the incentives, and then what's coming up over the next sort of 12 months. So one of the biggest things the GPA are doing is the incentive to get payroll taught in schools. So and I was literally just speaking to a client on the way walking here, and she's still not across it, doesn't really know much about it. So if you want to just tell us a bit about the incentive, and what it's all about.
Yep. So I think maybe I should just sort of rewind back a little bit to sort of talk about where this idea all came from, really. So at the GPA, we have been championing or promoting payroll as a career. We've had a payroll is a career campaign for quite some time now. So
Tell them the story, because it's my favourite thing you've ever said.
Okay.
About how there was an astronaut and a police officer, and then you were like, but who pays them? Tell them that story.
Yeah, I will. So I'll start from that story then.
Yeah, because that's the best thing.
Yeah, so the very first time I got connected with a large group of careers advisors across New South Wales and ACT, it was, I think there was about, it was about over 200 careers advisors from across the state, from a different number of schools, who had joined a virtual conference where people from different industries had a 10-minute slot to talk about career opportunities within their industries. So they were a mixture of, apprenticeships or traineeships or entry-level roles, et cetera, et cetera. So, we had people like there were two different organizations from space research. One of the people came on dressed in an astronaut's outfit with the hat and everything, the helmet and all that sort of stuff, wearing the big white sort of astronaut's outfit. And then we had and they were talking about going into space and showing videos of how you could get into space and the research that you could do holding the helmet under the arm and all that sort of stuff, right? And then we've got the classic, the fireys and the police officers and and all these other really fancy sort of careers and people really sort of giving a great spin on what the future holds.
The sales
right?
pitch of these amazing careers, yeah.
And then there was me right at the end, very last person of the day, as people were getting tired because it was quite a few hours of talking, trying to talk to them about something they've never heard of or have never even considered. So I had to start off by saying, it's been a great event, and I really want to just thank all the other industries who were before me promoting their fantastic career opportunities and all the great stuff that, you can do in space and all that. But at the end of the day, no one's going into space if payroll's not paying them. And that was...
I mean, it's facts. It's facts. Like, then, no one's going to do anything without being paid. So
well, that's right. And I thought, and I got the reaction that I was looking for. So I thought I'd go overboard a little bit, and I continued on to say, in fact, no one would even be here listening to anyone talking if payroll didn't pay them, and no one's going to be putting on an event like this if payroll weren't paying them. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today.
Mic drop. I love it. So go and tell us about the incentive.
Yeah, so just sort of taking it back to the Payroll is a Career campaign that we've been working on for several years. I think our CEO, Mel, released that, must have been about 6 or 7 years ago, I think now, without remembering the correct date. But so we've been promoting payroll as a career. So that's kind of where the incentive started from, because I thought if we want to promote payroll as a career, we have to promote it to people who don't know that payroll is a career. Mm-hmm. And then the best place to start, being a mother of teenagers myself, I thought, you know what? These guys don't know anything, right? My kids have no idea about a career. Well, back, a couple of years ago, they didn't. How would they even know to think about choosing payroll if they don't know it exists?
100%.
So that's when I thought, right, the target audience initially has to be in schools. Mm-hmm. It has to be students who are at an age where they are starting to develop ideas about what they want to do in the future, and then connecting the subjects that they choose accordingly. Mm-hmm. Because that's what the function of the careers advisors in schools is to do, is really to understand the talent that the students have, and work with their teachers to understand where the strengths and weaknesses of their students lie, and then help them to choose the right subjects that will get them to the end goal. So introducing payroll as a career into schools, I think was a very right starting point, so that we can then have a generation of people who are leaving school knowing that payroll is definitely what they want to do.
Well, this is the thing, because like if everyone talks about how they got into it, obviously you just made a joke about it, but they fell into payroll, right?
Yeah.
And it does still happen. I do speak to people,
Absolutely.
it does happen still. But I think back in the days, people's, the aunties were telling them about it. Their mums were telling, their mums' friends were telling them about it and being like, oh, it's a really good career. Like you should get into it. And it was like word of mouth through family and friends and things like that. Whereas it's so hard now. I don't think people are doing it. I think they're going, oh, no, don't do it. Like I've said to people, were you advised to get into payroll now? And they're like, nah, absolutely not. Stay clear. So, that word of mouth referral thing is not happening anymore. And I think that it's a good thing to introduce it to people the way you're doing it, because it gives them, like, it's just not even something you'd consider. Like we talk about accountants or
That's
even
right.
HR. But this is a whole thing on its own. It's in my opinion, far more lucrative. You make way more money way quicker.
Yep.
You don't need to do all the formal qualifications and sit down. Obviously, you've provided one, which is a great step in the right direction. But you don't have to do a CPA or a CPA, and it takes you, 6 years plus 10 grand a year. Like it's good. It's it's a really opportunity for people to get in and earn some good money really quickly.
And look, and that's why we wanted to make sure that whatever we put together, whatever investment we make into the pathway must, be in a way that students or people who want to enter payroll using the pathway have it for free. Because I don't think there's any point really asking people who are at a point where they're looking to make a career change, looking to start a career, looking to enter the workforce, to pay for a course or a pathway that they don't really know about. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we're offering something that doesn't cost people money.
Yep.
Because there are two things here. First of all, they need to see if they like it and enjoy it to know that they want to continue.
Correct.
And second of all, they need to be exposed to this industry to understand what it's about. So, offering that to them free of charge, I think is probably the best way to attract more potential talent into the industry. So on the back of that careers advisors chat that we had, I was then invited to they called it a networking day with certain teachers from different schools. And so I made the trip out to Armidale, and I was sat in a room with about 10 teachers from financial services, but financial services on the vocational education training side of the HSC. So they are the teachers who look after the students who choose a subject that is not an ATAR subject, but it's a VET subject. So that gives them a certificate in financial services.
It's all kind of new to me because obviously I did my education in the UK.
Yeah.
So we don't have ATAR and I don't know what any of that is. But I'm assuming everyone else will, so you don't need to elaborate, but it's fine, I get it.
That's right. Okay, so I can throw out a few other words here that you don't understand, and then I can just sort of sit back and see you struggle. So no, I won't do that. No.
I'm like, can you see my eyes going my eyes are starting to cross. Like, what are you doing? ATAR, what's that?
So basically, if they don't want to go to university versus they want to do something, in the vocational education side.
And it's not that like even a trade, because obviously you could do like hairdressing.
Well, that is part of the VET side.
Oh, so
there's a mixture of different things.
And that's payroll is thrown into this, right?
That's what we were aiming at doing.
Okay.
And I honestly, I wasn't expecting the fantastic response that I got from the teachers collectively about the pathway after I presented it to them, because again there were a couple of other people there who were presenting from financial advisors associations and accounting associations. I thought, yeah, you know what, they're probably going to be more aligned to be speaking to those people rather than me. But as soon as my presentation was over, I had about, all of them just, came up to me and said, we just thought that we want to add this to our curriculum for financial services and possibly business services, which are two different subjects. So I thought, oh my God, that's just, absolutely amazing. And from there, we had talks for about almost a year, lots of different meetings, lots of different sort of programming and scheduling, and we came up with the work placement. So the work placement, just to very quickly go over that, because it is, fairly long and tedious, but what we did with the work placement was we split it into two, because there's an option to do what they call a simulated work placement, which is within the classroom. And that means that students will be in a classroom setting over 35 hours in total, working through a simulated work placement. So the teacher is driving that. And all they do is they go through the payroll pathway training course and go through the resources at the end. But they also then came back to me and said, you know what, we really like the simulated version. Can we also do a virtual work placement? And basically, the virtual work placement covers the requirements that students have in these courses to do a physical work placement for 35 hours at an organisation.
Yeah, we had to do it. I had to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now, post-COVID, obviously, securing work placement for students has been very difficult.
Yes, of course.
Because we've got a lot of remote work, we've got a lot of hybrid work.
Yeah.
And, for a student to go in and do a week's worth of work at an organisation is nearly impossible. So the New South Wales Education Department sort of came back and said, you know what, let's do it virtually. And that's how we came up with this plan.
Okay.
And, to make it feel more real and connected to the industry, we had a lot of volunteers from the industry, and I just want to say thank you again to everyone who volunteered. To present to the students, to be mentors to the students. You were one of those.
I was in Bali.
Yes, you were in Bali. You didn't have to say that again, but yes, you were in Bali.
And hungover.
Yep. No, you didn't have to say that either, but okay.
It's like 6:30 in the morning in Bali.
Yep. And that gave them an insight into, the people in payroll, what the people in payroll do. And not just, from a theoretical side, real life sort of knowledge. And the success rate was unbelievable because we literally only had about 10 students drop off.
That's so good.
That was from the very beginning, and that's quite normal.
Well, I joined on Friday, and on the call I saw there was 200.
Yes.
200 students that were on there.
Yes.
Yep. And there was popping up all the questions, and they were so engaged, even though it had been a full week by that point.
Yep.
They were so engaged and they were just so keen, and I could see all the questions popping up. And I was like, oh, if you need to ask me anything, just let me know. But I thought it was great. It's so creative a way to get to kids, because nothing like that was when I was a kid. Like, we had to do work placement. I just went and worked for my mum and dad.
Yep.
There was no thinking outside the box. There was no coming up with a creative idea to get new information to kids and how to engage kids. What do kids like to do? They like to sit on the computers. Let's do something virtually. Let's get them doing something, so it's really good. It was well done.
It was great. It was a fantastic week, and the feedback I got from both the Department of Education, the co-presenter, and the work placement service provider was that the kids were absolutely 100% engaged, and that it has probably been one of the most successful work placements that they've actually done.
Great.
And I've had students who've been reaching out to me ever since to say, hey, when can I sort of start a career in payroll? And it's, whenever you're ready.
I love that. We it's good because obviously we are so, I think I did a post, and I don't know how many of you saw it, but we are so candidate short. We have really hit a peak in the market when it comes to jobs. I don't know if anyone looks at the job market, especially on the more junior end as well, this payroll officer space, because we still need payroll officers. Like, we still need people to do the payroll. It's not all just analytical and all kind of strategic. Like, people need to just do, and they're charging 90k base for roles now, but the businesses can't afford it.
Yeah,
so we're really in a pickle at the moment because the work needs to be done. They're not getting the headcount budget. Candidates are too expensive. So this has just come at the perfect time to create that new work. I mean, it's going to be a couple of years, but that new workflow of those junior ends that come with good, solid knowledge of payroll. Talk to them actually about so obviously what do they learn? What are they learning?
Okay, so they go through various modules first of all, and learn the theoretical side. So they start off by learning about work rights. Who's entitled to work in Australia? How do I check that? How does that affect payroll? What do I do if I'm not sure? Those sorts of things. So that from the very first go, the students are learning about or starting to learn about classification and how that is important. And or to sort of think about each individual employee, and then from there they learn about fair work. They learn about the function of fair work and what they do, and how that affects payroll. What they need to do as a payroll person to understand fair work. They also learn about payroll tax. They learn about the differences across the state-based differences, how they need to be calculated, what the rules are across different states, etc. They learn about leave entitlements. So all types of leave, annual, unpaid, carers, sick leave, what conditions do they need to sort of have to take leave, different sorts of leave. They learn a little about long service leave. They learn about, can you cash out your leave? Can you not cash it? So all of those sort of details, and they'll learn about how to calculate PAYG. They also learn about superannuation, which was, funnily enough, a major hit with the students in the work placement.
Because no one knows what it is. I'm not going to lie. I've been here for 11 years I've been here. I still don't quite understand what it is. So a client actually recommended, because she does a lot of stuff with it. No one tells you what it is.
No.
Like, you just arrive in this country and they just make you put, at the time it was 9%, I think it was back then.
Yeah.
Even 8, I don't even know what it was.
No, it would have been 9.
9%. And they just go, okay, well, we're going to put 9% into this savings fund for you. And I'm like, pardon?
Yep.
And I, at 23, however old was, 23, living on 45K base that they paid me back in the days, I was like, why are you putting that $1,000? Give that. I need that now.
Yeah.
I don't care about when I'm 70 or whatever the retirement age is. So,
which is why I was quite surprised that the students, so we're looking 16, 17-year-olds, they're all going, oh, superannuation was my favourite module, superannuation.
shut up. They're so cute.
So I don't know if it was the word super.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Simple. No, it's got. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so they learn about super. They learn about PAYG, payroll tax, fair work, all that sort of stuff, and then they also learn about the all-important awards.
Yeah, amazing.
And so they actually get to use a tool called the payroll standard, and using that tool, they have to go through and navigate different payroll scenarios. So they might get a question that says, a casual employee works on a public holiday, which is also a Sunday. Are they entitled to a meal break? So they'll have to go through and navigate through that award system that will tell them at each point what they need to do to make sure that they're calculating the pay for that person properly. So they then get that further reinforcement of employee classification and the importance of it and how it affects the payroll at the end.
It's really good because I think it's going to really shuffle the payroll market, because they are coming into the community and into the workforce with some more base knowledge.
Correct.
Than some people who are in 2, 3, sometimes even 4. I spoke to a candidate the other day. She's 3 or 4 years in payroll, never touched tax, doesn't understand, has never had the opportunity to do anything other than just sort of the start to finish of the processing. And she's on 100K. Well, she wants 100K. And I was like, wow. These guys are going to come in but the chief has,
Yep.
and it's going to be such an amazing solution for a lot of businesses.
Well, maybe we shouldn't say cheap as, but...
Well, they're not going to be 100K, are they? Are they going to be 100K?
No,
How much are they going to charge? 70?
No, that's
for them to,
and
me to help.
Negotiate at the end of it. That's
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, they're not going to be asking for 100, 120K base.
I don't believe they would be. I don't think that's obviously not.
They're going to listen to this and be like, I can get 120 grand.
Yeah. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Okay.
No. No, but obviously I was joking when I said cheap as. Well, you said it, and then I said don't say it because you shouldn't say that. Yeah, shame on you, Mel.
Yeah, I was 45K when I got into recruitment. I signed on.
That obviously upset you quite a bit.
Yeah, well, Yeah, come on. Who can afford to live in Sydney on 45? I mean, it was 10 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But who can afford to live in Sydney on 45 grand? I found a way though, trust me, and I still drank every night.
Well, let's not get into the detail of that. Moving back to the payroll pathway. So what the students then learn, just so I can finish off what the sort of whole course is, what they then learn is they learn how to do manual payroll calculations.
Great.
So we have a spreadsheet that's set up with a number of different scenarios, and that was, courtesy of, and can I shout out?
Of course you can.
Yellow Canary.
Yep.
And Kirsty Martin helped us quite a bit there. And they just put together, a whole bunch of scenarios of calculations and a really long video that shows in depth how to fill that out and how to do the calculations. So they learn manual calculations, they learn the payroll, the award interpretation, and then they move on to sort of pre-payroll software, thanks to EPG Group, Zemplo.
Amazing.
And from there, they, again, reinforce the classification of employees and then how that will filter down the payroll path. So by the time they actually complete the payroll pathway course, they have a very solid foundation of the basics of what payroll should look like, an understanding of what are the key areas that I need to be cautious of, thinking very, very critically, and also having some exposure to payroll, to software within the industry. So, again, I just want to shout out a big thanks. Payroll Standard, Yellow Canary, and Zemplo EPG Group. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, it's great. This is honestly, it's brilliant. Like, they're going to come away with so much knowledge. They're going to just, it's just great because I think as well, a lot of the newer people that are coming into the payroll community, they get a job, they fall into payroll. Back in the days, you had to learn how to do the manual calculations. You had to understand why we do things that way, right? However, now they're so system dependent. So, they learn by sitting in front of SAP, or they learn by Chris 21. So they know to press those type of buttons and it gets that result, but they don't know how to do the manual calculations.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to incorporate manual calculations into the pathway, because my perspective is manual calculations are the why in payroll.
100%.
Right, that's where they will understand the why. Why do we do this?
100%.
Why does that affect that? So without having that understanding, I personally feel, and look, there could be people out there who don't agree with this, but my personal opinion on this is, and that's kind of what I did when I was getting into payroll as well, understood how it all happens manually. So it's kind of understanding the code behind the software, right?
100%.
And they will be able to, be more effective on the technical side, on the tech side, if they understand the whys behind it beforehand.
100%. And you'll be able to spot if there's an error, well, that doesn't look right.
Correct.
You're less just like kind of a bit more less like a robot, and you're like, oh, hold on, that doesn't look right. Also, you will be able to pick up systems, I reckon, quicker because you're less dependent on just knowing those series of clicks on that system. If you are, okay, well, I need to get to that result. This is the formula that I need to get to the result. This is what I need to kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's, and this is, I honestly think is one of the biggest issues we've got at the moment in payroll, where, as I said, you've got these people on 100K, but they're really very junior. And, the managers are now having to, okay, well, I need a head count, but I'm going to have to invest so much time and so much energy into training this person up to get them up to scratch for them to understand this, because, they've done a payroll admin role. They've just sat there. They've done, this and this. And now I need to bring them up to scratch, and they just don't have the capacity to do that.
And that's where, taking someone on from the pathway will give them that really solid building block to help them. So that will take away a lot of the basic stuff that you'd probably spend weeks, explaining to someone, and it'll just provide you with someone who's got a very solid building block that you can then build upon according to your organizational goals and requirements and, technology and processes, et
No, it's
cetera.
great. So what do you need from us? Well, I say us, the payroll community, but what do you need from the payroll community now to support you?
Well, so what I'm looking for is basically organizations who are willing to start taking people on from the pathway. And so I'd love for you to reach out to me. We know we've already got two people who are kind of ready to go. And, we've in the next couple of months, we will be having a lot more coming off who've completed the pathway and who would be looking at entering a entry-level role within payroll. So organisations, that's what I want. I want the support from organisations to come through and say, yes, we will definitely support the program by employing people.
I will put in the notes for the podcast, I'll put your LinkedIn link.
Yeah, put my LinkedIn, put my mobile number.
I won't put your mobile number because that will just be annoying for you.
No, that's right. Look, let me tell you what you can put in. My LinkedIn, my email address, my phone number, my home address, my
driving license.
My driving license
What about
number?
Your PIN number?
PIN number,
your
passport,
your
bank
details.
details. Just put them all in there.
No, we'll just do it and then a selfie. Yeah. No, we'll do your email address and your LinkedIn.
Sure.
And then you can contact, obviously if you know Nili, you can reach out. If not, you can reach out to me if you need if you have any questions, because I'm pretty all over it as well, and I'm going to help obviously the most I can as well and get these guys into the market. So if you have any questions or anything, just let me know, or just reach out to Nili as well. Yeah. This is fantastic. I'm so excited. But do you have anything else in the pipeline? Is there anything else you're working on? Any other incentives or plans?
Yes, there are. But
you don't have to disclose any secret.
Yeah,
no, because this is going to be released in probably August.
Right.
So if anything's not before then, so don't say any secrets. But you can tease us.
So look. So what we look. I mean, at the GPA, our underlying mission, our vision has always been to, basically improve the profile of payroll and put together resources or events or initiatives that will help the payroll careers, help the payroll industry. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's kind of what we look at. So if you have a look at all of the stuff that we do at the GPA, mm-hmm. you will see that message underneath all of them.
100%.
Right? Try and help the payroll industry. So we are always looking for gaps in the industry where we can put together an initiative mm-hmm. that will help the industry and that will also help the people in the industry. So we do have a few things that are coming up, but the things that I probably, am quite happy to just talk about are your standard. We'll have another event in Sydney and Melbourne in October, so look out for the details there. And there'll be a few LinkedIn Live sessions that I'll be running.
Great.
Where I'll be talking about different things within the industry. So we're going to touch a little bit on, stuff like employment law and how that links into payroll.
Love that.
We'll also be touching on our identity.
Ooh.
Payroll, the payroll identity.
I love that because it's changed.
It has.
It's changed significantly.
Well, it's changing, which is why I like to say that we are having an identity crisis.
Yeah, it is. It's not a back office function anymore. It's the front of the face. It should be as much of a face of a business as HR.
Well, that's the thing. There are, and I want to kind of stay a little bit neutral on this one, only because I'm planning a LinkedIn Live.
Okay, all right.
But there are opposing opinions, and there are opposing opinions within the payroll industry as well. Some people within payroll within the payroll industry feel that payroll functions better when it's part of another division. Some people within the industry feel that no, we definitely need to be standalone because we're very strategic and must be standalone, and we can only make the decisions and be part of the overall decisions if we are standalone. And then you've got a whole other set of argument that comes in where it says, well, should payroll be part of HR? Should payroll be part of finance? Should payroll be part of taxation?
Law.
Should payroll be part of, I don't know, concierge? Who knows?
Yeah,
right? There's a whole bunch of different things.
It is really hard because I get it from all angles as well, and I get well, how can I do the best by my team if I'm reporting into someone who doesn't understand what's the best for the payroll team or the actual payroll? So that's where we get the idea of it needs to be on its own. It needs to be its own industry. It needs to report straight into the top senior leaders of the business, because in order for me to be doing my job properly, I can't be answering to someone who has no idea. Like finance, we will have very black and white. There's a budget. We don't have the budget, which can get very annoying for people. HR, it can get a bit too much too complicated. It's really hard to know what the right thing to do is. So that'll be really interesting. I'm excited for that conversation.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting because there'll be different views, and as I said, because people have, people have different views because of where they sit within the organisation
And their experience that they've had, 100%.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, there are still so many people out there who don't believe that payroll even needs to be, a function. So and I say that because I've come across people in my journey when I go out to careers expos and promote payroll as a career to students and their families, you'd be surprised at the comments that I get from people. It's like, why are you here?
Oh my God!
And because they don't understand.
They don't understand,
right? And their mindset probably hasn't evolved as fast as payroll has.
Well, I guess as well, if you're working for a small business where your payroll person also does your invoices and all this kind of thing, it's not a big thing. Like, I think we were talking about this with Tony in the last podcast, like, payroll covers everything from your huge multinationals, your 20,000 employees, or your globals even, to your mums and dads' business who are paying themselves.
Absolutely.
And the same rules apply.
Absolutely.
But the big multinationals are the ones that are like clocking on to the complexities and we need to get ahead of it and we need to be proactive. And the mums and dads are the reactive, and they're the ones that are getting tripped up with some of the legislation issues and things like that. So it affects everybody. It just depends how much of an importance it is in your business at the moment.
And that's exactly what I say to people when I go out to schools and when I go out to careers expos. Is when they say, the first thing I say is, have you heard of payroll? And they'll say no. And then I'll say, do you have a job? And if they say yes,
No.
if they say yes, I say, well, how you get paid at the end of the week? That's what payroll does. And
you won't be telling them about any further. Don't refer anyone like that to me.
No, but then as soon as they hear that, right, as soon as they make that connection, it's like, oh, I get paid and that's payroll, then the questions start coming. So do you know if I work on a Sunday, how much I should be getting paid?
Oh, for God's sake.
But I think that's important, right? Because that's when they start making the connection. They start making the connection of, so there is a career out there. There's a department in the organisation who determines that, or who, not determines that, but who sort of calculates that and passes it on to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you can see their minds working when they go, what if it's not right?
Well, one of my girlfriends works, actually I won't even say, she has a job, and
I'm glad. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, well, I can't really say because it could grasp them up of what it'd be very obvious when I say what she does for a job. Anyway, she was saying to me that she got an email the other day that her tax code had been wrong for 5 years. And she was getting a nice juicy, and it turned out the payroll person had just coded it wrong. My friend didn't know. It's not my friend's job.
That's right.
She had no idea. But it was just a user error. They should just put the wrong code in, and for the last 5 years she's been paying an increased tax threshold. So she got a nice juicy return. I don't know. I don't know if the ATO, whoever gave it to her, but she got the money back. And she was like, if I didn't say anything, she does shift work and stuff. And she was like, if I didn't say anything, that's not what I was going to say. If they didn't say anything, I would have never have known. And I just think to myself, imagine how many people are sitting around us. Like I always think about it. I'm such a psycho bitch, but like I always think about it. Like I'll be around, like no one knows. Like since learning so much more about payroll, think about my first few jobs in Sydney. I didn't get superannuation on my commissions in my first agency. When it happened on my third agency, I went, why have you put super? And they were like, that's the law. And I was like, well, the last two agencies haven't done that. So they owe me superannuation for sure, but whatever.
And those agencies watching today, watch out.
Yeah, I know.
Mel's here.
I know. Well, 100%. They didn't charge. And I got decent comms as well, so it would have been a chunk, but whatever. Screw them. So they didn't pay me on that. So even with that, like, roughly, I guess this is the whole point of payday super now, right? So it's easier to track. But, really, if I reckon every single person has had an issue with their pay at some point.
Oh, look, 100%. And it's just, how aware of it were you? And, if one thing that I do know that we achieved in the virtual work placement with those kids, first of all, we got them to understand that payroll is a career and got them interested in payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give you the stats. There are almost half of the students who completed the work placement came back and said that they are now definitely seriously considering a career in payroll, right? And that is for the very first time. So think they've just learnt what payroll is. They had no idea that this existed, completed a 1 week work placement for the very first time in this space, and half of them have said, that's where I want to be.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So-
this is so great. Well
So I
done,
think that's-
Nilly.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing that we achieved out of that is awareness.
Mm.
So now all of those students who are on there,
Mhm.
including the supervisors who are supervising them in different locations, are more aware of what goes on behind their pay
Mm-hmm.
and what they need to be looking out for.
You've gone into, basically what you've said is you've gone into these places
Yes.
and created a whirlwind
Yep.
of questions. And
think
then
I
they
have.
payroll teams get these calls being like, hey, so Nilly said this one thing and now
Yeah.
can you check that I've done this right for the last
I do-
15 years?
Yeah, I do look over my shoulder as I'm walking down the street in case there's a van following me.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like, you literally go into these schools, go into these communities. Oh, sorry, there's no water. I'll get you some water. We'll pause it and get some water. You go into these schools, you go into these communities, and then you go, oh, well, there can be all these errors. And they're like,
Errors.
yeah, so you've really caused a bit of a whirlwind there. That's so funny. Okay, so obviously, how many guests do you have come to the events usually?
In the last one, I think we were up to about 150.
Great. So, outside of there's 150 people, people don't get to make the events. I talk to people still about GPA, they don't really know much about it. So tell us about the events and what other, sources and things that you guys provide. I think you said that there's a WhatsApp group.
Yep, that's correct.
So would you want to talk about those kind of things or the sources and stuff?
Yep, sure. Look, I mean, our symposiums are originally designed to sort of capture, people in payroll who are more maybe at the leadership sort of end but we've kind of grown from there, especially
It was
in
a
Australia.
recruiter central, wasn't it?
There was quite a few recruiters,
Yeah.
but I mean, they weren't all recruiters. Obviously, there's 150 people there, Mel.
And then like 50 of them were
No,
recruited.
they weren't.
It's like, Jesus.
Recruiters, stop coming to the event. No, don't.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Stay home. Mel's the only one.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, look, we design them so that we're basically giving the payroll industry, real-time information that they really want to know about.
Yep.
And that's going to benefit them.
Yep.
And we try and sort of target it at like a leadership level to help sort of the decision makers in those processes. One of the things that people want to hear about at our symposiums a lot are the global trends, which
Yep.
is generally what I cover.
Yep.
Because they want to know what's going on in payroll around the world.
Yep.
They want to know what are the hot topics in the other countries. What are they doing that's innovative and new that might be worthwhile bringing into Australia? So we cover, those global trends quite a bit. And then we just try and make sure that we have a couple of presentations about what are the key things that we need to know in payroll in Australia now. And then we'll obviously, have a panel discussion on what is the hottest trend topic that we need to
I
be
love it. I
talking
think
about.
it's so. I come away I just like this is great. This is so much information. I love it when you're talking about wage access.
Yes.
That's a new thing.
Earned
Love
wage
it.
access.
Now I'm obsessed with that. By the way, I'm like need to learn about it. Need to know everything.
Well, it's been around for a few years. It's not brand new, but it's gaining momentum now, right? So when it first came out a few years ago, it was a bit more like, there was always that ethical challenge that was coming
This is
about,
what's
right?
obsessing me about it. I'm interested to find out how we're going to control it.
But any type of earned wage access platform you use has their controls on there.
Do you want to tell what are the sources and what's this WhatsApp group I'm hearing about?
Okay, so we have put together a WhatsApp group, and we sort of, for our members, and we have it in different regions. We have one for APAC, we have one for the UK and Europe, and we've got one here for the guys in Australia and New Zealand. And basically, the idea of these WhatsApp groups is to create a payroll community that is there to support one another. And what the people on the WhatsApp group do is if they've got a question, and the guys in Australia have been talking over this week, asking questions to one another, and they basically sort of, if they come across something that they haven't done before, if they're a little bit confused with, what to do, it could be something, anything, it could be long service leave, it could be a specific benefit, etc. Then we, the guys will ask each other on the WhatsApp group, and other people will help them with that question. So someone who's maybe done that will answer their question for them. But we also get questions about Australian payroll on our other WhatsApp group over across the UK and Europe. So our members there, if they're running payroll in Australia, and there are quite a few, often ask us questions about how to handle this entitlement, or how do I, handle this particular benefit, et cetera, et cetera. So I will take that question and ask the guys in the Australian WhatsApp group. So it's not just, within Australia they're helping each other. They're kind of connecting worldwide.
Great.
And helping each other. So it's just a support mechanism and to create that community vibe.
I love that. No, because I think people have a lot of questions. As I said to you earlier today, people call me and ask me questions about things, and I'll always offer the best advice because I speak to so many people.
Maybe you should send them on to me, and I'll add them to the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, 100%. We can. Well, if you want to we can put it on the show notes if you want.
Yeah, if anyone wants to join the WhatsApp group, just reach out to me first, and
she'll add you in.
Yep.
There'll be a secret code,
and if you don't know the code, you're not in.
And you've got to do a dance.
Well, you added that.
I'm going to send a video of you doing a dance, and then she'll add you into the group. I'm joking. What is there any other sources? You've got the GPA website that's got lots of stuff and information on there.
Well, yeah, and look, we have a lot of resources that are available to our members. So if you want to talk about GPA membership, again, please reach out to me. And there's a whole range of different training, webinars, etc., that you'll have access to as a GPA member, and a whole bunch of different resources that will help you in your day-to-day payroll life that you can make use of, whether you're an organisation or whether you're an individual. There's lots of different resources for both sides on our GPA membership. So reach out to me and I can tell you more about it.
Great. And then you've got the next symposium will be in October.
Yep. So we're looking at October because May and October are generally our symposium months.
Yeah, they're good. Good months.
And so we'll have another one in Sydney, and we'll have another one. Well, we didn't get to go to Melbourne this year in May because of the work placement. But we'll do that in October.
Great. And that's all if you've got anything else on in terms of the end goal, like what's your dream for the future of the payroll community?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a very big question, but the end goal overall, after everything we've spoken about today, is definitely to have a payroll community that chose to be in payroll first of all.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that we want to try and change, right? Is we want to try and change people saying, I actually started my career in payroll when I was 20 or whatever it is, because that's where I wanted to be. I'd learnt about payroll in school. I knew what payroll was, and I wanted to have a career in payroll.
Yeah, great.
And here I am.
That's so good.
But alongside of that, this is kind of without giving too much away about the other stuff that I didn't want to talk about, is we want to be able to have people in payroll who are working through a structured career path. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a little bit about
say no more, because otherwise give it away. No, I think you're right. I think it's a really great. We want to hear more people passionate about payroll again. I think everyone's tired, and I think everyone is stressed out, and something needs to change. And you have been the one that's brought the change to the community. You. And I think it's. I will do whatever I've said to you. I'll do whatever you need me to do to support you. I'll help you. I'll get these guys out to market. I can, I'll make all the introductions. I'll continue talking about it. Now we're looking for businesses to take these guys on. Yep. I'll mention it to guys. I'll be like, to reach out to Nili, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be here to support you the best I can.
Fantastic, and I appreciate that, Mel. You've been supporting us from the very first day. And again, just another call out to the payroll industry. Please reach out to me as an employer who's probably looking at, taking someone on through the pathway. I think it's, I personally really, really believe in the pathway. I really do. And I hope that comes across in,
it does.
In what I say. But we're just really looking for that support from the industry. And hopefully we can have more support from the industry as we update the training. So if anyone wants to be a part of our videos that we make, our training videos, as we update them with changes in the legislation, and, if you want to be part of the future work placements that we do, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get connected.
That's amazing. Once again, I'll put Nili's bank details and her LinkedIn and email address at the bottom of the show notes. If you're listening to this and you're interested, just click on it and it will take you straight to Nili's profile and email. And you can just, if there's any way you want to contribute to helping, Nili will give you something to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, you.
Thanks, Mel. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys. I look forward to hearing from you all.
Bye.
Bye. To my boobs.
I just recorded that.
Oh, no.
That's going in the outtakes.
Yes, that will be edited out.
No, it's going in the outtakes. And we don't have any Prosecco today because we are both sick. do not want to make it any worse and ruin our weekend.
Yeah, so we thought we'd just come together as two sick people so that our germs come together and
with water
procreate and become something even bigger.
It was like the new COVID to be released. Mel and Nili did it.
The payroll coronavirus.
Don't, because this is all recorded and they're going to come to us and tell us. I don't know.
Are you going to cut it out?
No, this is the outtakes.
What does that mean?
This is going in at the end.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You hear people talking about your boobs. Yeah, okay. I'm getting the look. A wink, wink.
Wait, I'll do it.
I can't do that because I'm on Botox.
Oh, really? So, alla naturale is... I can do that, see?
I can't do it.
I can even do that.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. Am I moving?
No.
Oh, okay. There you go.
No, you're just giving me a really weird look that's making me uncomfortable.
It's the Botox. Okay. We'll